Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Bigger Warriors 2 in the 1% Club. I am starting to catch up a little bit here. It's a welcome Sunday, first of all, to all of yous out there and also some of the female viewers we have. Happy Mother's Day to you guys and to those warriors, males who have mothers. We all have mothers. And also wives, children. Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers out there. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you. I'm grateful for all your comments, all your feedback, donations, things like that. And we're going to keep making some adjustments as we go along. I'm kind of grouping things together. Today we'll talk about energy a little bit, and then we'll talk about being married under SR and dating, all those type of things as we go along. So, and thank you guys. I saw one from Chris a second ago. Looking slimmer. Worried a little bit about my the weight. I'm actually, Chris, actually have lost about 75 pounds, but I'm toning up, and that's how I feel. I used to be like this many years ago, before I started all the issues we've been talking about. And so we can talk about that a little bit another time. But yes, so thank you guys. I appreciate all good comments. I feel tremendous. I feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. And a lot of that goes back to the whole idea of continence, semen retention, and being in control. So let's do some shout outs here real fast before we get to our video. Don Juan, thank you, my friend. Too Blunt Chuck. Darkless 77, thank you. Legokingcool 2. Focus on yourself, not girls. I like that's a great idea. Moneyman J2515, thank you. Rudy F, thank you, my friend. Non of the Soul. Alvin. Jonathan G, avoid being boring. Yes, always get your involved in things, do things, keep active. That's one of the therapies for sematizing the brain and getting away from all the images and the women, thinking about the women's. Focus on something else that's going to get you away from all that temptation from that way. Oleg, thank you, my friend. Two Funky Lover 1298. Don't chase. Won't you be lonely? You know, one of the things that I suggest here, my friends, and this is something we'll talk about in the last video. You know, you're not going to be lonely, in my opinion, because you have yourself, you have God, and when you're on retention, you don't feel as nervous and anxiety and depression that most people start feeling. A lot of that, to me, is because of that release of energy, whether it's physical or emotional. And if you don't do that, you feel a lot more happy with yourself, and you can live with yourself and be by yourself no matter what happens. And so, and girls will be there. The attraction level is over the roof when it comes to this. So you're not going to have trouble with women, but don't chase women. Women will come to you. Just have to kind of pick the right one to be with, because remember, you're exchanging energy with that person. And even if you have intercourse, you cannot release, in my opinion, unless you really want to procreate and have children. In that case, that's a little different type of situation. All right. Terrel, Gaskins, thank you. Light in the Dark, Redadore, and VJKN. Thank you, guys. So at the 3-minute, 30-minute mark here, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, let's talk about our topic. Our topic has several different components to it. Let me kind of put them together. Alex asked about how to transmute energy mentally and physically. Andre was talking about lots of ways to use energy, and he's right. They're both right. Having too much energy, how much Mecro asked about that one. Andre also talked about lots of ways to lose energy. So let me kind of go back a little bit and focus on what we're talking about here. So the whole concept is that because we are in this society in which people are telling you it's okay to release, it's okay to sleep with multiple women. I'm just kind of referring to the men, even though it does apply to women as well. But most of our viewers are men, so I kind of concentrate on that for the time being. If a lot of women in the audience who want to talk about that, I'm happy to do one on that as well. But obviously, being a male, I don't have as much knowledge. I do a little more research on that to kind of tell you what I found out. But the idea then is that as a male especially, you have a level of energy that God has given you. And unless you're going to procreate, which is one of the reasons why we're here, right? To move our population ahead, our genes ahead. We're not supposed to let go of that energy. Well, in society, over the last number of years, there's been this push to go ahead and release your energy. And people are even telling it's healthy for you, those type of things. Well, they must not have read about, or they didn't care about the studies that were done long, long time ago, over the years, about how bad it is to release energy. And so what you really want to do is you want to keep your energy, and don't listen to all these people. And now you may think, well, there's side effects. What happens to, can you get cancer, things like that? Well, I've been doing it for a while. I don't think I have any kind of effects right now. Actually, I feel better than I've ever felt. And I think the other thing is that when you see information out there, you know that it's been around many, many years. This is not something new. Continence, it used to be called, semen retention, it's been around for ages. It goes all the way back to medieval times even before that. The Egyptians actually studied this. Back in their tablets, they talked about the fact that you need to transmute your energy. People, if they can get their sexual energy, which is the most powerful force in this world, the most powerful force you have, besides God, of course, in a human body is your sexual energy God has given you. How you use that is crucial. So when we talk about this, and Alex's question is how to transmute it mentally and physically. That's a key energy aspect of this, because you can lose energy pretty easily, and you also want to use it for other means. And so you could have too much energy at one point, but the idea is that you want to be able to understand how to create, how to have your energy and how not to lose it all the time. Now, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just leaves your body and transfers to something else. So if you're releasing, it's out there in the either to another person, or it's just out there. And so it goes and just kind of either evaporates into something else or does something. So the whole key, my friends, is to first let's look at the energy itself. Now, how can you lose energy? Well, we know this, right? We know this because you can actually go ahead and have intercourse with somebody and you feel exhausted. You're tired, and you see people who've been doing this for years. They look like they're 30, 40, 50 years older than they should be. They look a lot older than they should be because of that. And I think aging process creeps in. We talk about the fact that phosphorus, magnesium, zinc, lecithin, all these type of things go into semen. If you release this, you're losing a lot of those things within your system. And if you do it continuously, it takes the body a lot of time, whether it's 72 days, whatever it might be, 90 days, to go ahead and reproduce this on a continual basis. So any little stuff you lose, you lose. And that affects you, I think, long term. I mean, I'm going to be 63 coming up in June. To my mind, I probably should have been doing this a long time ago. I'm lucky I found Kellner's book in 1998 that started the process, but it's only been over the last 4 years now. I think I'm under 1,300 days or something like that, 1,320 days or 30 days of NoFap to be able to kind of understand the whole idea of continence and self-retention to the point where semen retention, to the point where I'm controlling myself. But the idea is you can lose this many ways. First of all, the biggest way obviously is physical. You're actually going ahead and losing it, whether you're having intercourse with somebody. And you can have intercourse, and we'll talk about this when we talk about being married. You can have intercourse, which is what they talk about. The best option to have intercourse is have intercourse and not ejaculate out. And be into, and you can still share, your liquids in some ways, not obviously ejaculation, but you share your energy with the woman, but you don't have to ejaculate. And so part of this is a very interesting type of thing that the old alchemists thought was very important. And I think transmuting it to another person, a woman that you choose in some ways is great, especially when procreation occurs. But the idea is that when you only transfer it to the air or to anybody, you're not getting anything back. Female will sometimes give back to you when they're actually within that course of interaction, in that connection. But if you're not having it with a female, you're not even getting that. And so basically what you're doing is you're losing all type of energy. And so as a result of that, this is why we always suggest that you want to go ahead and try to build as much energy as you can over your life. and you will see the positive effects of that. You get more clarity, more acuity, you'll get better attraction, better looks, you start looking a little bit younger, you start feeling more confident, you get opportunities left and right when it comes to jobs, all kinds of stuff, because of all these things build on each other. You can look people straight in the eye, you have great health benefits, which you don't get sick at all, for the most part, and even if you go through pandemics and things like that, you're not getting sick. A lot of benefits coming to semen retention. But the idea is that you want to keep your energy and use as much as possible. And now then, once you have that energy and you know you're not going to release it, you don't want to just sit in there either. You got to do something with it. So when you get excited or something happens, you can transmute it. Now, my best method physically is to hold my my thumb to the nose, breathe in when you get excited, and then switch it over and breathe out. And you take the breathing. A lot of your energy will be added to or taken away because of your breathing. Your breathing is a key to this. Your breathing, you can bring it down. You bring it up, you're bringing things up to you. And so you're, in some ways, bringing the energy back up. It starts at the root chakra, and it moves up. We want to call it chakra, energy center, anything you want to call it. But you're actually moving it up to your system throughout your body. And therefore, though it's not leaving your body, you're now using it to go back into your body to actually kind of help with any sort of ailments, things you have within your system. It makes perfect sense. The trouble with us is that people are unwilling, or because they've been brainwashed and their thought pattern is not that way, is they're losing their energy. And so when you lose your energy, in lots of ways, and you can also lose it from a psychological standpoint. You can lose it through stress. You can lose parts of it, at least through stress. And that's because you're drained out, you're tired, you're not working out, you're not doing the things you're doing. Now, with retention, you're going to build some energy. But again, if you're living a stressful life and you're not doing this in total, you can tell that. Usually a person who is on retention is a lot more calmer, a lot more relaxed. They're able to navigate through problems. They don't have the level of stress that you would normally have. And I know this because my level of stress has gone completely down compared to the way it was. And you can handle things a lot more calmer, and you're relaxing. And I think that even though you might get a scream once in a while like I do, you're still able to kind of handle things. It's really a very calming type effect having this. You feel more self-assured, you're more confident dealing with people, and they react to you that way too. They're attracted to you, they want to be around you, they want you in your business, they want to do a lot of things with you because of that. So those are things that you're happening. But you can lose those through the physical and the spiritual and all the releasing of the stress you have. So you want to continue to build it up. Now, how do you do that from a mental standpoint? We saw about one physical. Obviously, Keller, in the book Fountain of Youth, which is a book that I highly recommend everybody to buy, is that the sixth rite is holding your hands at your waist. When you get an exciting type of situation, now you breathe up again when you push down. And so you're breathing up and pushing down. Once again, you're trying to push everything up eventually to your system. And the sixth rite talks about that. That's one of the things I didn't do up until about 4 years ago. And now I've had a lot more success. And Kellner talks about that. He says you can have great mild success, which I did since 1998 up until about 4 years ago. And now, because I now use that, now I've seen dramatic increases, almost like you become a superhuman type person. And your energy, no matter what your age is astonishing. And you guys have said I'll, look a lot younger and things like that. I attribute all that to them and those alchemists who have the idea of going back to the Egyptian times of being able to kind of look younger as they went on because they saved their energy for us. It just makes perfect sense. Trouble is, with our corruption, our brainwashing in society, we've kind of learned the opposite. And I think we have to be careful of that. So there's lots of ways, as we said, we can lose energy. I think I addressed what Andre was talking about. Using energy, obviously, you want to transmute it. So from a mental standpoint, meditation or prayer or just sitting there, whatever you want to call it, sitting there, thinking about God, thinking about something other than women is key. I've struggled through this on monk mode sometimes. That's why I kind of go back and forth with monk mode. Monk mode is something where you don't even think about women. This is where my battle is warriors in my life is really focusing on not thinking about it, because I had so many years of it in your mind. It's indebted within you to kind of think about that. So I have to continue to fight against that. Now, how you do that? Well, you think about thoughts that are other types of thoughts. So if that thing is coming on, you redirect that thought. Now, you can't do a lot when you're sleeping, but obviously you can try to do everything you can before you fall asleep to try to think about God, think about all other things besides women. And so slowly but surely, you'll kind of lose that idea. And so you won't edge, you won't do other kinds of stuff doing that. And so you got physically, we talk about mentally. Obviously, the other thing is keep yourself as busy as possible. So if you find yourself getting into a bad habit again, keep yourself busy. Find things, especially in the summertime, when we talk about this in another one. But summertime is a very tempting thing. A lot of women having, not a lot of clothes on, and they try to be very attractive because of the way they look. It's very tempting to kind of get yourself off your purpose. But don't do that, because that's going to lead you down the road of releasing again and that sort of thing. So you want to kind of make sure you're focusing on that. All right, let me see if I have anything else that I really kind of wanted to talk about with this one. Having too much energy. Now, they do talk about sometimes your body will react. If you have too much energy at a certain point in time, you may have a trickle and things of release at some point in time. That's a normal thing. Sometimes a lot of you young guys may get, dreams at night, wet dreams at night, and those things happen as well, because that's a little bit of a release, but that's nothing I worry about. I don't even count that in my mind when it comes to your streak. Now, I will also say this, that this is a lifestyle change for me. It's been the last 4 years now. It's what I'm going to do until my last days, because to me, this is the truth. This is really the fountain of youth that we talk about. Keeping years. I mean, this is really, to me, the truth about long life, longevity, is being able to control yourself. Genes obviously play a part of it in some ways. How you take care of yourself, that plays a part of it. But really, the force that you got to keep within yourself, which a lot of people don't do, because they've been carousing around all these years, they've been fooling around, losing all kinds of energy in many different ways, is if they don't have continence, if they don't keep their retention, if they don't keep themselves together, they have a tendency to lose that pretty easily. And so because of that, what ends up happening is that because all that energy, all the chemicals and magnesium and zinc and phosphorus, all those things leave the system, it affects everything else, and you get more decay. So when you get decay within, then you start looking older. And that's going to be what's going to happen. So you can see that this makes perfect sense. But this goes back to all the Egyptians. And I know we look at this and say, okay, well, what about the religious aspect of it? Well, I think depending on what you're looking at. Let's take, for example, my religion, and being Christian, being a Catholic. You go back to celibacy. The same principles apply. I may term it different things, but the idea is that celibacy is something that was really very strongly recommended as well. You marry because if you have lust, as I think it was Paul talking about, you need to marry, right? In the New Testament, you need to marry because the idea is that you need to have somebody to do that with, and the union between that male and female is enough. You should be satisfied with that. If you don't, well, then that's going to be another issue you have to kind of deal with, but that's outside the realm, and that's something that's going to more end up destroying you. That's why they call all this self-abuse, because you're abusing yourself, no matter what people are saying. This goes back thousands of years. And so because of that, they've all had this. Human nature has not changed all that much as far as humans go. Yes, technology's changed, all this other stuff has changed. Though you could probably argue that there's a lot of innovation we don't know about back in the Egyptian times as well. But regardless, though things have changed a lot, human nature is basically the same. People still behave the same way, and they don't change. And this is one of those things that are not going to change. People are still going to get tempted. People are still going to lose their energy. And these generations will continue doing this until people become aware of what the truth really is. In my case, and what I feel, at least, this is my humble opinion, I feel like this is what the truth is. That you keep your seed, you keep your retention as long as you can, your semen, And that will gain you benefits health-wise, attractiveness, all these things, opportunities, because then you become a high-value person. And I think in the case of women, they respect and they like men of value. And you become more men of value, more moral values. Once you're abstaining from a lot of this stuff, you're deciding, okay, I'm just going to pick those women who have those high qualities. Relationships become a lot easier. You're not falling for a lot of temptation, and you're discerning a lot better too. So, all right, my friends. Well, I hope this helps. But thank you again. Let me shout out again to Alex, Andre, Mecro, Andre again for this comment. We're going to talk about being married under SR the next time. Hopefully we'll do that in a couple days, and we'll kind of get the dating and semen retention as well. All right. So as I always leave you on this Mother's Day, I hope you guys have a great day with your wives, with your mothers, focusing on women are tremendous. I think I have a great value of women in society. We talk about, certain things when it comes to women with retention, but the idea is that women men need women, but we need to also deal with them in the right way for us to be males. And I've even noticed that comment in old pictures that people looked at me and said, I looked actually more feminine back in those old days, and I probably did, because of the retention and losing energy. And now I look a lot more masculine, which I think is probably the best compliment I could get, is because of the fact that, I'm retaining. So, all right, my friends, 2 things as always on this great Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning. 1, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And number 2, guys, I'm coming with the scream. We need to continue to fight this devil. We need to battle